So if you had $1 million of cash on hand, your point is you just why not pay for it right then and there?
Because I don't believe that our investments are going to exceed the interest that we
Right,
pay.
that's a good point.
In other towns, when they buy something, immediately they set up a sinking fund to replace it. So if something's going to be go on for 20 years and it costs $100,000, they will actuarially figure out how much will it cost to replace this 15 years, and they will start funding that through a capital budget.
So your sinking fund is really like a virtual bond.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, look, we have until next meeting. What I'd like to have then is I'd like to have for the next meeting I want a capital budget with all the needs of the town. And I've been asking this for like at least 6 months. And do we only is $63,000 a full sum total of what we need in terms of capital for the town?
I
Actually, Rye-Town Park
think
living
the
is going
board-
to cost us. Again, we could actually. It's an interesting question. Rye-Town Park, if we really want to refurbish it, and grant, it's going to cost us $8 million.
Right.
Now, we probably can afford $4 million if that was something that we felt was a priority.
Spread it out over 10 years, it's $400,000 a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could afford
plus
that.
interest. We can afford it. Bless you.
Bless you.
So I guess can we get a capital budget, Mr. Trenzi, Mr. Nowotnik, for next time?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right. In terms of this, $63,000 expenditure, well, first of all, I guess we can award the contract.
I agree.
Now, the only question is, do we want to, we have to get the bond before he can start work if we were to decide to go that way? Is that Town Attorney Noto, do you know?
Yeah, you can't spend the money before you get the bond. You can't backfill it with the bond.
Well, now what about
And the bond, by the way, has to be fairly specific as to what it's for, as we've had this conversation in other matters.
Right.
And I'm not sure it's a great idea to commingle a town project like the roof with the Rye-Town Park, because we split that with the city of Rye.
Right.
So,
Mr. Supervisor, I think there is some money left over from a bonding. I think Michelle remembered. We borrowed $125,000. Now, what you have to do we didn't spend it all. In that case, you have to go to bond council and get the specs. You can get the specs changed retroactively to spend the money, and we may be able to backfill the roof with about, I don't know how much money was left over.
It's $30,000.
Yeah.
$35,000. You want to backfill that, and we can afford to spend the other $35,000 on operations.
Okay.
and you don't pay any additional interest.
All right, great. Well, I think we want to award the contract, right?
Yes.
Please. And get the roof so Mr. Nowotnik take the bucket out of his office. For those of you at home don't know, there's a little leak in the roof, so he's
You would need a resolution awarding it to whomever.
okay.
Yeah, I think it didn't, that resolution make it into your packet?
Okay.
Nope, it's just
Nope.
blank.
So, Mr. Gelfarb, Mr. Noto, would you guys...
Well, I actually wrote up a resolution while I was sitting here
Good,
and
please.
gave it to Hope. It's in my handwriting, but I don't quite know if she's out with it or
Just right
where
there, I think, but if I
Where
can
is
see
she?
it.
Oh, no.
Anybody can read it.
We'll ask.
I have it right here.
All right.
Yeah, I thought we had.
Would you read the Gelfarb resolution?
Gelfarb fine-tuned it. Get water. Okay, whereas the town of Rye pursuant to a request for proposals received sealed bids for the provision of roof replacement services, and whereas the bids submitted included an amount for a bid to replace all flat roofing, a separate amount for an option 1 to include application of reflective costing, a separate amount to an option 2 to include installation of a roof terrace. And whereas upon review of the submitted bids, it appears that numerous responsible bids were submitted. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Rye does and hereby authorizes Supervisor Joseph Carvin to award the bid to Best Roofing of New Jersey, Inc., 30 Midland Avenue, Wallington, New Jersey.
Could we include the amount of that bid being $63,500?
Sure.
And could you also include the address, 10
Yeah.
Grove Street?
Oh, okay.
And lastly, said approval does not include either option A or option B.
Okay.
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 Or said scope of work, whatever you prefer.
per auction of scope of work, okay.
How much, the deck
Grove
was how much
Street.
additional?
Well, I think the deck is a separate issue, and I think it would be responsible if, the best responsible course of action would be to take that under a different
How
dialogue.
much with this guy, how much?
35.
Well,
500.
with this guy, it was $48,000, but recognize that the deck bids, that option 2 bid, ranged from $18,000 at the low to $48,000 at the high, so there's a fairly big spread there.
So we could do 18,000 once we get this done.
Well, the 18,000 presumes that their men are here already, that they're set up and everything, but you can do it somewhere between 18 and 48, absolutely.
It's a pretty big bid-ass spread.
I think Councilman Villanova is making a proper suggestion there that nothing precludes you from coming back later and rebidding this, option 2 or option 1.
Would you make sure that you put in the capital budget?
Yes.
I want to have a roof party in the spring. And if we're going to invest all this money in the roof, why not put $20,000 into it and have another facility we can use?
That being said, because we looked at this this base amount, Mr. Supervisor, and ultimately, if going with the selected person because he was competitively bid this best roofing, competitive at 63.5. But as soon as we start to bring in option 2, so we'll be at 107,000, and then if we brought in if we just took a snapshot of the person that had a competitive bid on option 2, but not the competitive bid for the base work, he's at 111,000. So then all of a sudden they all become competitive. I think that we need to address, like I mentioned, address the roof, get it secured before the weather starts to change, and then rebid that decking. I think the other aspect of that also is that that bid then for the decking doesn't necessarily have to be a roofer. We can bring in other skilled labor.
Correct.
And take it from there. And we also have the opportunity of using our own staff. They may be able to, have that opportunity.
This says bid base. Is there any, is the contract, can he what happens if, can he?
Well, there's a provision, if you look at the hourly rate, the markup, and the cost per square foot, there is a $7 cost per square foot should they find out that there is, for example, remedial deck work. That was what that bid request was if they strip the roof materials off and they find out that we have some rusting deck panels that need to be replaced, those would be replaced at a cost of $7 a square foot. Should there be additional labor involved, which we don't anticipate, but there could be weather-related issues or other related issues that arise, that would be billed at $100 an hour.
And that quote, that bid, is, if you look at these, is competitive. So.
Good. Okay, can I get a motion? Oh, actually, did you read the resolution? Oh, or you did?
She did.
You did, sir. I need a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Gelfarb.
Aye.
Mendocino.
Aye.
Mayorkas.
Aye.
Villanova.
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.